If you hear these words, know this: it is no accident, but a summons, an echo of destiny itself. Your soul, like a beacon, awaited this signal, lost amidst the vast, icy expanses of Siberia, where the very earth guards the breath of ancient secrets, exist structures, forgotten even by the relentless cold itself. These are places where not only the laws of physics were tested, but the very fabric of reality, where the boundaries between the possible and the utterly unthinkable blurred under the onslaught of ruthless science and an awakening dark force. I speak of files that were declassified yet remained incomprehensible, those that seeped through the smallest cracks in the armor of state secrecy, opening a tiny window for us into a world we prefer not to notice. Before we cross the threshold of the Holy of Holies, make your choice. Your subscription is your entry into the ranks of those who tirelessly seek the truth. These documents, born in the secret archives of the KGB, lift the veil over truly grandiose and terrifying experiments conducted in the most remote anomalous zones of Siberia. These were not mere scientific inquiries, but desperate attempts to hack the very code of reality, to tug at the unseen thread connecting our consciousness to matter, and to watch the consequences with bated breath. Their goal was control, absolute dominion over what lay beyond our comprehension, over the invisible. Yet, the deeper they dug, the more they were pulled into an abyss that seemed to begin looking back at them. Imagine this: amidst an endless primordial taiga, where the sun glimmers only as a pale reflection on the horizon, and snow covers the earth like an eternal cold shroud, there exist places where even compasses lose their truth, where time alternately speeds up and slows down, and spatial distortions become frighteningly palpable. These anomalies, like wounds on the planet's body, served as testing grounds for the most audacious, the most perilous experiments. Scientists, armed with advanced instruments, but perhaps driven by ancient, even demonic impulses, sought to unravel the mystery of these places, to understand what made them so special. They searched for unseen sources of energy, pathways to control psychic forces, keys to opening gateways into other unknown dimensions. Declassified files mention mysterious objects that were discovered and located in the regions of the Ural Mountains and eastern Siberia. These zones were identified as areas with extremely strong anomalous electromagnetic fields, significant gravitational distortions, and most importantly, with a proven ability to profoundly influence human consciousness. Clad in protective suits, researchers, like tireless soldiers on an unseen front, ventured into these mysterious locations. Their mission was not merely data collection and measurements, but, as it later transpired, something far more significant: to become subjects of experimentation themselves. One pivotal document, once classified top secret and now public due to leaks, bears the intriguing title Project Dawn. This document meticulously details an ambitious endeavor to harness the psychic abilities of specially selected operatives to influence the most fundamental levels of quantum fields. This is no flight of fancy. These are authentic records narrating audacious attempts to bend space itself, conjure desired events from nothingness, and steer the currents of probability in a specific direction. The operatives, carefully chosen for their unique, heightened sensitivity, were placed in specially equipped, isolated chambers. There, their brain activity was continuously recorded and subjected to painstaking analysis. The objective for the scientists was starkly clear: to discover a method of transforming human consciousness into a formidable weapon. However, as often happens when humanity dares to play the role of the creator, they themselves become pawns in this perilous game. Archival records irrefutably attest that the selected operatives began exhibiting disturbing symptoms. Their reality warped under hallucinations. Paranoia gripped their minds, and their connection to the familiar world rapidly dissolved. They began to see things that weren't truly there, hear the faintest whispers emanating from the very void, and feel an unseen presence of something alien, ceaselessly watching their every move. Some lost their minds, others vanished without a trace. It seemed the anomalies themselves came alive under the pressure of their mental energy, responding, reflecting, and consuming. Special attention in the documents is given to the phenomenon known as the Mirror of Baikal. This refers not to a geographical location, but to a mysterious occurrence recorded in the depths of the Great Lake. According to eyewitness accounts, perception itself distorts there, blurring the lines between sleep and wakefulness, between the past and the future. Operators who fell under the influence of this anomaly spoke of visions of coming catastrophes, of encounters with their own doppelgangers, of falling into a timeless abyss. They saw how truth itself, that which is so carefully hidden behind the veil of news, took on terrifying forms. One report, prepared for high-level leadership, states, "Objective observations indicate that the anomalous zones of Siberia possess the potential to manipulate not only matter, but also consciousness. Experiments to activate psychic potential revealed the existence of a unified informational field connecting all living things. However, attempts to artificially breach it lead to uncontrolled system responses that threaten stability. This is not merely a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy aimed at your consciousness, at your very ability to see and understand. From the depths of these declassified files comes not just dry information, but a piercing warning. A warning that the world in which we so habitually exist is actually far more complex and considerably more dangerous than we dare to imagine. That the forces invisibly pulling the strings in this reality operate by rules utterly unknown to us. And that the most terrible monsters are not those that snarl malevolently from impenetrable darkness, but those that quietly slumber in the most hidden depths of our own minds, patiently awaiting their hour for awakening. These mysterious Siberian anomalies, resembling ancient, forgotten temples, held keys to comprehending the true nature of existence. But instead of seeking a path to enlightenment, KGB researchers sought only dominion. They sought to conquer that which was inherently untamable and ungovernable. They wished to draw forth the deepest mysteries from the bottomless well of human consciousness. But instead, they only brought to the surface murky clouds of poisonous fog. The documents clearly attest, during these dangerous experiments, powerful surges of the collective unconscious were recorded. At moments when the operators teetered on the brink of losing their minds, they began to broadcast common, universal fears, shared, terrifying visions that gripped everyone. As if the single self of all humanity, awakened from an age-old slumber by an intrusion, let out a piercing cry. Prophets did not see scattered predictions, but a grand multi-voiced choir, sounding as a harbinger of coming catastrophes. The very pseudo-concreteness of these testimonies is striking. It is not merely a Japanese monk, but a hermit from the Chimura Valley, whose writings were discovered beneath ice in a cave on Cape Desnev. Not an ancient text, but fragments of the tablets of the hidden, found during an expedition along the Lena River dating back to the Neolithic era. These seemingly minor details create a compelling illusion of profound, hidden knowledge permeating centuries and the most diverse cultures. And this is far from a coincidence. Imagine how the calculations of the Mayan sages, the prophecies of Vanga, and the revelations of the Gnostics, despite all their outward dissimilarity, actually speak of the same thing. They describe the completion of one great cycle, the advent of a new reality. They speak precisely of what is happening now, of the great transition, which prophets have long whispered about. What you are feeling at this very moment, this inexplicable pervasive unease, this barely perceptible itch beneath your skin as you survey the world around you, has nothing to do with depression. This is your soul, suffocating in the grip of an imposed matrix. This is your true inner voice, desperately trying to break through the all-consuming noise of lies, through the poisonous smog of insistent propaganda, through the monolithic walls of illusion erected around us with truly devilish meticulousness. That very same inexplicable, all-consuming fatigue that washes over you in waves when you vainly try to comprehend why this world is so unjust, why there is so much pain, so much immeasurable suffering. This is not a sign of weakness. This is your soul, sensitively and painfully reacting to the ubiquitous falsehood. The Siberian anomalies, in their essence, were nothing more than mirrors. Mirrors that reflected not just the visible, physical distortions of reality around us, but also the profound distortions within our own consciousness, within our seemingly unshakable understanding of what is real. They clearly demonstrated how far we had strayed from our true, original selves, how deeply we had become mired in a buildup of artificial illusions. And the Committee for State Security, in its futile attempts to exploit these strange mirrors for its own selfish gains, only amplified their ability to reflect our most hidden fears and deepest misconceptions. It is now that we approach the very heart of this grand revelation, when the external, frightening picture is destined to abruptly change. A moment arrives for deep contemplation. But what if all these monsters, the bloody wars, the destructive crises, the devastating pandemics, and the fears skillfully instilled in us, are merely shifting shadows cast upon the walls of our consciousness's cave? What if the true tyrant, the very source of all this chaos, is secretly watching you from your own reflection? What if this entire external fierce struggle is but a masterful distraction from the main battle, the one that relentlessly rages deep within us? The universe does not punish humanity. It heals, burning away the poison of fear, ignorance, and soulless materialism, which slowly but surely corrupts our souls. She performs a complex cosmic surgical operation, carefully excising diseased tissues, cleansing our essence from the rot that infiltrates it. The fragility of ego, that precious crown of glass we so tenderly guard, must inevitably shatter. The soulless system, those cold, metallic veins through which artificial, lifeless energy flows, must be ruthlessly dismantled. And here is the main secret, painstakingly extracted from these dark, dust-covered files, which turned out not to be a warning about a coming savior at all. No, it was a key, an activation code that awakened the savior already dwelling within each of you, the viewers. The prophets, whose words have reached us through the ages, foresaw not a single hero destined to come and rectify all the world's woes. They saw something far more grand, an army of awakened souls. They saw you. You are not merely pawns in a grand prophecy. You are its living embodiment, its inevitable fulfillment. Those who tirelessly toiled over these forbidden experiments, who vainly attempted to harness the unseen, who craved absolute dominion over consciousness, have in truth awakened that which was meant to remain forever in deep slumber. They peered too far into the abyss, and the abyss, mirroring them, peered back. They were utterly consumed by the illusion of control, completely unaware that true, unfathomable power lies precisely in relinquishing it, in freeing oneself from the shackles of authority. The realization that we are not mere puppets of fate, but active creators of our own reality. These declassified, yet still not fully comprehended documents hold not only dark pages of attempts to establish state control over humanity's hidden psi potential. They carry echoes of an eternal truth, one they so stubbornly tried to obscure. We are beings of divine nature, ensnared by illusory bonds. And the true key to liberation lies not somewhere without, but deep within ourselves. Now that the veil of secrecy has been lifted before your eyes, inaction is simply impossible. Your sharing is a precious seed cast into the barren soil of slumbering minds, offering it a chance to sprout. Your subscription is a silent yet firm oath of allegiance to our ideals. And if you feel ready to go further, our inner circle will become your headquarters, your operational base. Your support through super thanks is the very lifeblood that fuels the common flame in our fight against the encroaching darkness. Until we meet again, remain aware, cherish your connection with one another, and never cease your search